Hey YouTube, it's Mark King here, and here's a story from Breitbart. It's about the pull from Rasmussen. It's by John Binder, and the title of the article is "Voters Increasingly Support Universal Basic Income for U.S. Citizens." All right, so basically, universal basic income is what basically Andrew Yang proposed. One of his big positions was giving everybody basically 1,000 a month. So the first paragraph, second paragraph actually, a Rasmussen poll finds that in the midst of the Chinese coronavirus, more American voters support UBI, whereby each U.S. citizen will receive 1K a month than they did almost 2 years ago. Voters are split on the issue with 43% opposing UBI and about 40% supporting such a program. Yang has long contended that UBI could replace the current welfare services as cheap alternative to taxpayers while providing aid to working and middle class families. Okay, so in theory, just in theory, UBI sounds really good, and I like the idea that it's fresh and new. Right, that's the thing. You want new ideas. You don't want the same tired ideas that's um, always tried and failed. Now the problem. Okay, so there are a couple of so what's going on in the world right now is that everybody wants things easy, right? This has led to the rise in social justice, where instead of actually working hard to accomplish things, you simply feel insulted, and that'll get you to the top. Go to HR, eliminate the competition, you have their jobs. Essentially, that's one of the reasons that people shouldn't want this socialism slash communism slash Marxist ideology. It hurts in the long run. It hurts the good people, right? So now with UBI, you actually really hurt men the most, right? Um, so when the government gives money to people, it hurts men simply because the government always will replace men. And sounds good in the short term, but long term it destroys societies. Look at communist China, look at communist Russia for the best examples. Uh, look at Cuba, look at Venezuela, but China is the glaring example. So under communism, because human beings need motivation. That's simply it. That's why money is important, right? So money is a like okay. So in school, right? Like, it works for me. You have to fool yourself, right? A little bit. You have to try yourself. Your reward should be good grades for studying. That's actually the reward in school. So that should keep you guys studying hard. My grades weren't the best in school, but you have to find things that might stop you from achieving. It could be friends, could be relationships, could be like you go out too much, things like that. But anyway, now universal basic income. The reason why it's really terrible towards men is because it incentivizes women to basically not have a man. It depends on the government. And this has destroyed families. Again, look at the black community. Again, point to everything towards the black community. When these women pop out kids left and right because the government pays them to essentially have these kids. Think of a universal basic income kind of like that. So, quote unquote, it's about giving women independence. They'll always spin things because women have no idea what to think unless men tell them what to think. So, but you have to spin it a certain way when it benefits females and feminism. That's what you have to do. This is what the government does. This is what I was sad about Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang, for some odd reason, does follow me on Twitter. I have no idea why. I don't know. I could have said something really interesting. But one of the disagreements I have with Yang is the what really happens when you give people free money. You break up the family unit. That's really it. That's why it's really bad. And he has actually good mathematical points and good logic points about like the jobs are disappearing. Well, the jobs are disappearing because China is pushing nonsense upon the citizens. Again, if American companies just pull everything away from China, you'll see a vast wealth. You'll see the middle class increase. You'll see Americans. You'll never. You basically you'll return to, like, again, everybody idealized, rightfully so, 50s America, that life, but that's when you had before mass immigration, essentially. Um, you know, like if you want happens, emulate 50s America, right? Honestly, think about the logic behind it. The 50s America, you had the wife, the kids, the picket fence, the dog, the cat, whatever. So, anyway, this article just goes into people. Well, the reason people want universal basic income right now is simply because things have gotten really hard, right? And the like, okay, so this is where the world's uncharted territory for the world, right? Back in my mind, I kind of support it right now simply because it's what's going on in the world. It's something beyond, beyond a human being's control, essentially. You know, if Trump does this for short term, I think he has to personally, simply because people have to pay their bills, but you don't want this to happen long term. You don't want to rely on the government more than a couple of months, essentially, right? This will become very dangerous. So, again, one of the ideologies of Marxism, or what people who follow Marxism, again, you hear from Robert Emanuel about never let crisis go to waste. Be very careful, universal basic income. You don't want to rely on this again because it destroys a family unit. Just look at communist China, what happens. So be very careful. It sounds good in theory. I fall for it sometimes, but you cannot do UBI long term, right? You just cannot do it. It doesn't work. Socialism doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. I would love the idea of staying home and doing nothing and collecting a paycheck, but in hearts of hearts, it just doesn't work. It does not work. Human beings are naturally lazy creatures, believe it or not. They need motivation. Motivation is wife, kids. Motivation is for women getting a man and getting their wedding ring. If people get these things handed to them, there's no motivation anymore. All right, guys. Reject socialism. Reject communism. Take care. You can read this article for yourself. But the young voters, saying their favorite economic plan makers opposed. But again, polls are being swayed right now because of what's going on right now. Don't let what's happening currently sway what should happen, what needs to happen in the future, right? You cannot accept socialism and communism because history tells us it will fail. It's always failed. Alright, guys, take care. Please share, say, subscribe, the usual. Hit that thumbs up. I think people say to do. Bye.